Hello, this is part two of my Testaments Season 1, Episode 1 review. I wanted to concentrate on some of the characters that we met in this episode, starting with Rosa, who we know is very close to Hannah. Hannah feels very safe with her. She feels a lot of warmth and tenderness from Rosa, and as well as the other Marthas in the Mackenzie household. And Rosa is from the time before Gilead, so she has a lot of resentment towards this new system that is holding her hostage. And we see this look of apprehension when that Paula is coming into the house. And based on that look, you you can guess that Paula is cruel, cold, and just a terrible person to be around. When Paula comes into the house, you can tell who's in charge right away. She's no nonsense. She is very authoritative in her demands and her expectations of the Marthas and also of Hannah. But given what we've seen during this episode, it's not a surprise. Wives are trained to be cruel and intolerant because that is the system of government that they are living in and are trained to be a part of. And we see this when Hannah tells us that Zillah, the other Martha, has had her tongue removed, probably for blasphemy. And she says it in a way as if it's routine, and it's also part of the Gilead system to make its citizens part of the government and to make cruelty normal, to make it so you barely notice it. You see it, you know it, but it's such an accepted policy that the citizens themselves become part of the totalitarian regime of Gilead. And of course, they start from an early age. So, how else would we expect Paula to be? I also get the impression that Paula was from the time before Gilead as well, which I have noticed in episodes. When we see Hannah boarding the bus, we see that the windows are covered, and she talks about the first time that she kissed or looked, actually not kissed, but smiled at a boy, and how the aunts put her in a corner for 2 days with tape over her mouth. It reminds me of a couple of centuries ago where a woman had to be a virgin in order to get married, where she could be insulted, attacked, lose everything she had if it was found that she was part of a relationship before marriage. And it's just another way for the system to control women and girls and not give them a choice. We also know that they are not able to read, or they will lose a finger. And unfortunately, that includes all of the wives, including Paula, who I believe has some education from before Gilead. And when we see the girls having a good time in the park on one of their field trips, they are carefree until the playtime is over and Aunt Vidala shows them the men hanging. She tells them that these men are there because they assaulted a girl and makes it sound as if the girl, by her mannerisms and her personality, caused these men to become weak and fall to their desires. So it's another way of teaching these girls that they are responsible for the horrific things that men do, which men in Gilead absolutely love. And when Huldah, who is one of my favorite characters in this show, says gross when she's looking at the men, she is berated by the aunt and is made to feel as if that is improper, that is incorrect, that she should be thankful that this is what is going on. It's just another way of making brutality and inhumanity normal. But you can tell by the look on the faces of the girls that they are not okay with it. And to me, it's another sign that they will rebel in their own way. We also meet Becca, who is Hannah's best friend, although they try to keep that hidden because the system also does not want best friends. Because we all know what happens when women become friends. They bond, they join together, and they fight back. So they do not allow extra closeness between any of the girls, either the plums or the pinks. And as we get to know Becca, we find out that she is now able to bear children. She has started her menstrual cycle and is now, unfortunately, being prepared to marry a commander. And she does not want to do this. She is so scared. She is so afraid. She does not want this. It is not her choice to do this. And it's kind of sad. She gets this look of sadness in her face when she hears Hannah say, "Oh, I wish I could do this with you." And then you see that reaction when she is told that her Martha is there to pick her up for another fitting. And again, she says that it's moving so fast. She is scared. She is just feeling completely overwhelmed by what is happening to her. But we also know that Hannah has narrated that it is the one thing that they all want, to be able to bear children. Otherwise, they are worthless as women. That's what they've been taught. That's what they've been trained to believe. And being able to bear children is the only way to possibly have some kind of a good future. And you can see the expression of happiness in her when it happens to her at the end of episode 1.